As the elected council member for our regional government, King County, I listen to lots of people in the community. And I think that the vision you have is no different than the vision that people who were born and raised here have. So we teamed up, the Congolese Integration Network and King County. And King County put our money where our mouth is. I'm proud to say King County now funds a program for parents and children to get support in their homes before the kids go off to school. King County also provides funding to the Congolese Integration Network for a program to support kids in school to be successful in school and their future. And through a partnership with other organizations, the Congolese Integration Network has received funding to provide support for their staff to run the programs. If you walk around King County, you see people from different countries, different backgrounds, different races, different ages. And in King County, our diversity is our strength. And I'm proud to live in a community and a nation that holds the promise of freedom and opportunity for all. But sadly, that promise has not yet been fulfilled. Women, for example, make 80 cents on the dollar compared to men, and women of color even less. People with disabilities see their transportation services cut first when budgets are tight. People who are low income feel disconnected from a political process so dominated by money. Recent immigrants and refugees struggle to find housing and jobs. I believe that all people, regardless of our differences, have value, something to contribute, and deserve equal rights and fair treatment. Those are our values. That's why we're here. With more than 2 million people displaced from the Democratic Republic of Congo, I am proud that the state of Washington in the United States has welcomed more than 9,000 immigrants and refugees. You are loved, you are welcomed, and your contributions are appreciated. And I look forward to many great partnerships between the Congolese Integration Network and King County. Thank you.
Welcome to the very first Congolese Summit here in the greater Seattle area. Give it up, people, please.
Bienvenue.
So I'm very thrilled to be here and to see everybody sitting here amongst us. As the president of the board, I have to remember to thank all the donors, all the people who gave their money and will continue giving their money. Thank you so much. And if you want to become one of them, please see me. Otherwise, I'll pursue you anyway.
My name is Michael Mugambe. My history and background is no different from yours. Fact being, we are also neighbors. I come from Uganda. To begin with, I would like to invite you, join me in acknowledging that we are standing on the traditional land of First Nations people or the indigenous people. And I believe that this is part of the Piala tribe. We thank them for hosting us and for letting us African immigrants survive on their land and do great things. Many of our ancestors were brought here as slaves by force. Some immigrated and others fled to this land. Well, the United States of America is certainly still the land of opportunities. Just like it was believed centuries ago before the European settlers came here, it is still a land of opportunities. But it's undeniable that a lot has changed demographically, politically, socially, economically, and in terms of education. I would like to speak to what matters to us as immigrants. Given the fact that we are working or we are living in communities with tensions, racial tensions, admittedly, with these racial tensions, it's not easy to travel from where we come from and come to the United States, and we face them. We get to be told that, hey, you are not welcome here. And yet some of the reasons why we migrate are because the past administrations of this country or the Western countries are the ones that initiated the conflicts and violence and the wars that motivate us or provoke us to seek refuge and sanctuary here. And yet we all understand and know that the system and the playgrounds in workplaces are not fair. What employers do not understand is that if they offer us the best workspaces, we can be more productive than even expected. Community to me is a feeling of fellowship with others as a result of sharing common attitudes, interests, and goals. If Congolese are having the same challenges and the same interests as Kenyans and Tanzanians and our Native Americans, it means we have the same position, and therefore we should build a stronger community. But how do you think this would be had we been very many Africans from different African countries and we had collaborated on changing the situations of African immigrants in this country? How many of us joined activists at airports when the administration rolled out discriminative executive orders and barred immigrants and refugees from coming to this country? How many of us have advocated for our fellow Hispanics and all the immigrants who are affected by DACA? African immigrants act, become social advocates, engage in other communities so that we can create a strong immigrant community in the United States. If we become stronger, no one can break us.
The Seattle University has a 5-minute video presentation that we'd like to show you guys.
Because I'm not supposed to talk. I just want to play a film that my students made in partnership with Floribert and with Providence's beautiful, beautiful music as the soundtrack to it.
That's a good question, what brought me to Seattle. It's like a lot of Congolese we couldn't stay home because of the unrest back home, as everybody is aware of the war situation in our country. Since 2001, our country is facing a permanent and continually a war which is devastating all the structures, from the population to the governance and everything. So that's why we can't stay home, and that's why you find us outside. This is the only place where we can find home or rest in peace for the moment.
We found useful to come up with a structure that could begin to work and to support the community and solve community problems. That's how I think I can say we started thinking about establishing the Congolese Integration Network, and that was in 2016. It was just 1 year after I was resettled in this country. So it took me at least a year to come up with this idea, and with a collective effort with other community members, we established the Congolese Integration Network. So like a place where the community could turn to for help when they're in need, or a place where those who do not speak yet English could turn to for advice or advocacy in case they fall into problems. The Congolese Integration Network Board, including myself as an executive director, we started working on different programs that could come up with solutions and solve different issues that community were experiencing.
Miss Queen is here, right? We're gonna start our lesson.
It smells so good.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. You know what? You remember this one? We did it last time, and then we're gonna review the same lesson, right, Mose?
Yay!
Yes. Oh my God. Okay, Mose, thank you. I know you're so excited. Parent-child home visit. This program is through CRN. We try to help a little kid from 1 to, I think, 35 months. It's program which we have to go to each parent house, you know, and then we try to help the kid who never been to school we try to teach them some color, maybe numbers.
I'm so happy. First of all, I'm so happy to be in this program, to have my child in this program, because it helped him a lot. For now, he can recognize the numbers, the letters. He's trying to write the letters, and he can see something and try to explain it by himself, which is good to this age. So what I can say, it's just a good program for the kids. What is this number?
And 1.
1. What about this one?
2. So we're here to celebrate with you, your culture and your language and your beautiful children in this graduation and many more graduations to come. Thank you so much for inviting United Way of King County, and as we partner with the Stolti Family Foundation and King County and the City of Seattle to be able to be part of the PCHP Parent Plus program.
In partnership with Parent Child Plus, CIN has worked with 30 families, providing early learning program to the kids under 3 years old for the last 2 years. We have seen tremendous positive change within many of those kids. We could not do anything without United Way Foundation.
Je vais vous présenter notre classe de English Conversation with Dr. Brad Hill. Dr. Brad, il était au Congo pendant plus de 23 ans, donc il est plus congolais qu'américain.
I'm very blessed to do this, and I'll tell you why. As Mama Biggie said, that I and my wife were missionaries in Congo for many years until 1991 when we came back to the United States. Je parle français assez bien et pe na yebi lingala moi malamo. But I had thought that our involvement with the Congolese had come to an end. And I thank Floribert Mubalamba and Biggie Rugiata for inviting me to teach English. So let me tell you just a little bit about the class itself. We had from 10 to 25 students. We met twice a month for 2 hours. Most of the students were from the DRC, others from Kenya and Burkina and Cameroon and others. Some were very young, others as old as me. The English classes typically start with maybe a newspaper, and we talk about headlines and we talk about sports.
We are so honored and glad to serve about 50 youth since March 2018 with our CIN youth program. And today we have a couple of them that will receive certificate of participation that now we're expecting them to be active member of the community. So with our youth, we will be sending them to big meetings. They will be speaking about Congo, raising their voice out there, talk about their country, their culture, where they're coming from, and resilience, what they've been through, and how they overcome and survive. So we've been through a lot of sessions of trauma healing. We're still working on it, but we've seen tremendous change, and a lot of our youth have developed self-advocacy, advocating for themselves. And also we shout out to our partners, Best Start for Kids. Can y'all shout out for Zach? He's right there. So Best Start for Kids, the Daniel with the governor's office, and Cham Refugee Committee and PI. We're so grateful to do this work and very humbled.
The Republic of the Congo has been proclaimed. Our beloved country's future is now in the hands of its own people. Brothers and sisters, let us commence together a new struggle, a sublime struggle, that will lead our country to peace and prosperity and greatness.
They judge me before they get to know me. What they do not know is the pride I have in the blood that runs through my veins, the pride I have in my rich culture and the history of my people, the pride I have in my strong family tie and the deep connection to my community, the pride I have in my name and the meaning behind it, the pride I have in the African music, African art, and African dance.
We shall eradicate all discrimination, whatever its origin, and we shall ensure for everyone a station in life benefiting his human dignity and worthy of his labor and his loyalty to the country.
It has been a real honor for me to work with Providence over this school year to address concerns that these students and their families have had about the education system. We helped students share their concerns with their educators and the schools, and we helped the schools learn to address the students in a culturally responsive way. With understanding and compassion, Schools, students, and families have made great progress this year, and we're so proud of what these students have been able to accomplish. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And Asante Sana.
The foreign-born population as part of the total population of Washington State increased by 72.5%. That is from 2000 to 2017. The African-born immigrants represent just 6%. That 6% is 63,411. So from 2000 to 2017, our population has grown by 30%. This is an indication that we need to be aware that we are gaining numbers here in Washington State. It's about time we show up. It's about time we make our voices heard. It's about time that we address the issues that are very particular to our communities. So we are talking about addressing issues facing our communities. These issues covers areas of immigration as one of the key ones. We heard one of the speakers talk about that. Education, economic empowerment. We are talking about leadership, good training for our African community leaders, as well as the organizational leaders, people like Floribert, who can drive the changes that are needed in the communities. The immigrant population in King County reached 500,000. That is 500,000. 8% is dedicated to the African immigrants. So our population out of the 500,000 represent 8%. That is enough for voting, to decide votes here in King County. So our hope is that in the upcoming census, we do our very best to ensure that all members within our community are counted, to ensure that our numbers continue to increase, that we can have the voice and representation that we want for our community.
And I just want to emphasize the importance of what Kwaduo just shared about the importance of data and African communities. And that is through the census. The decennial census, which is a complete count of every single person in the United States, that happens every 10 years. So the next upcoming census, where it's really important and critical that all of our communities participate, is happening a year from now, Census 2020, on April 1, 2020. There are a number of reasons why it's especially important to participate next year on the census, and that is because we are living in a social political culture right now where the federal government is not supportive of counting our communities of color. And it is up to us locally, our communities, to make sure that we are counted on the census. Floribert and this organization, the Congolese Integration Network, worked with is part of the coalition, the Washington Census Alliance, and helped pass $15 million to ensure that our communities get counted in the census.
That's important because the funding not only coming from your local school district, but mostly coming from the state and the federal government. And in their school, there are many different programs available to make sure that your children are successful in their learning. And these programs are funded by public money. Without the accurate count, these funding will be less specifically for our children. And that is one side of the spectrum. I just want to touch base on another side of the spectrum, is the importance of supporting what we call ethnic studies in school. Because it is critically important that our children see themselves in the community and in the history that they themselves will write one day. And we, your state government, is committed to ensure that they will be in their history.
My family came here from India when I was 8 months old, and we came here with $6. And I know many of you have a story similar to mine. You know, I'm very proud to be an American. I'm very proud to be from India. I'm very proud to serve in the state senate and in the state legislature and represent my community. One of the things that I know Senator Hasagawa and Representative Tai and Representative Gregerson and I formed, you know, many of our colleagues formed what we call the Member of Color Caucus. And that means that we, as communities of color, came together to talk about the issues that impact all of our communities.
You are very lucky to have moved to Seattle and living in a community that has a long history of fighting for economic and social justice. 60 years ago, we had leaders in our community, an African American leader, a Native American leader, an Asian leader, and a Latino leader, brought all of our communities together to build power in our political system, because we all realize we have common goals and common issues that span the Latino, Asian, Black, and Native American communities. All of our issues, when you think about it, are the same. Our community needs you all, and you need us.
The state of Washington has a special office that is designated to help make sure that there are services for people who are refugees and immigrants. Since the early 1980s, our office has been helping people who are refugees and immigrants to get jobs, learn English, access health care, get their green cards, and become US citizens. We do this by investing $25 million into our local communities through community-based partners like the Congolese Integration Network, who can provide services that are culturally relevant and linguistically appropriate. Part of my job as the Washington State Refugee Coordinator is to listen to the community. We value engaging with the people who are actually receiving the services to learn more about what you need. The journey and experiences of these individuals and families are unique, but they are not alone in these challenges. These are the stories of refugees and immigrants in the United States. It is our job to help people to have the resources they need to succeed and thrive. The United Nations High Commission of Refugees estimates that there are more than 70 million people who are displaced in the world due to war and persecution. 25.9 million of these are refugees. At the end of May of this year, 856,000 of these individuals come from the Democratic Republic of Congo. And half of all the refugees in the world are children. If you are a refugee here today, you know this is true, that many of those that are most impacted are children. You also know that refugee resettlement is like winning the lottery. In 2018, only 27 countries resettled refugees. They resettled about 90,000 refugees. That's only 5% of the world's refugees, and 5% of the world's refugees need resettlement. So there's just not enough spaces. The United States has a long history of welcoming refugees. It dates, the contemporary model goes back to 1980, where you see we welcome more than 200,000 refugees. And in 2018, the United States resettled 23,000. I just read an article that said that Canada has surpassed the United States in the numbers of refugees that we welcome. In spite of these numbers, we can take faith in the fact that the United States has resettled every year. The United States resettled refugees in the past 5 years. Refugees from the Democratic Republic of Congo have been the largest group. And you can see that the states where they predominantly go, the top 10 states where they resettle, Washington State has a long history of welcoming refugees. Since 1975, more than 150,000 refugees have resettled here. And in the past 2 years, Washington State has ranked fifth in the country, or ranked in the top 5 for the numbers of refugees we resettle. In the past 7 years, we have welcomed more than 20,000 refugees. And the largest groups that arrive in Washington come from Ukraine, Iraq, and Afghanistan. Nearly 800 refugees from the Democratic Republic of Congo have resettled in Washington. I'm asked to talk about data a lot. For me, numbers are no substitutes for stories. Each person in this room has had an experience and a journey to bring you here. Your voices matter, and we care about your ability to excel and succeed in our state. I want to thank you for listening to me and for giving me the opportunity to share in this really momentous event with all of you.
It is the great strength of our country that for our entire history, people from all over the world want to come to the United States of America and make a better life for themselves and their families. Immigration, refugees, people seeking asylum, it's what really has made America great over the centuries. And as you're a member of Congress, I pledge you I'm going to continue to fight hard to make sure that our country welcomes refugees and that we have a strong and welcoming immigration program in this country. And unfortunately, as much as our country has welcomed immigrants and refugees, there's always been this opposition. That's why it's so important that communities like ours band together and fight for the true values of our country. And I am also firmly committed to continuing United States involvement in foreign aid, in helping developing countries throughout the world, especially in Africa, grow their economy and improve the lives of their citizens. I have, as I mentioned, been to the Democratic Republic of the Congo a few times, and I see the possibilities there. If you can get good governance, access to education, education for women, adequate health care, we need to continue to work to make sure that the entire world is a fair place for everybody, to reduce poverty and eliminate the suffering that so many feel throughout the world. And I firmly believe that the United States of America, as the wealthiest and most powerful nation in the world, has a strong role to play in helping make that happen.
I've been in this industry for more than 20 years. Yeah, so I went to fashion school and all those stuff. So I work with different designers in South Africa and even here in America. I worked with some of the top designers as well. But when I came in 2013, I had that passion in me and I was like, how can I make my brand to be known in the USA? And in 2016, I had my debut fashion show in USA and I partnered with CIN. So they supported me a lot. So the reason why I'm telling this story is so you can know that as a refugee, I came in this country, I had nothing. I didn't have enough finance or money, but I had something in me. But I used my talents. So this talent today helps me to be dressing up most of the celebrity today in America. I'm dressing some of the NBAs today, and our governor, Hensley, I met him through this talent. So what I will say is, we have so many refugees here and we have talent. All we need is more support.
Je réponds au nom de Madame Anguisse Ngiangi, créatrice de la marque Anguisse & Design. Premièrement, je tiens à remercier l'organisation de Congolese International Network qui m'a aujourd'hui donné l'opportunité de se présenter devant vous et de présenter quelques-uns de nos œuvres.
La République démocratique du Congo, avec ses 80 millions d'habitants, vous offre beaucoup d'opportunités d'investissement.
Along the most powerful river in Africa lies the second largest rainforest in the world. You will travel from north to south, from east to west, where livestock and arable land create a perfect balance. A Garden of Eden will offer you a rare and diverse wildlife. World capital of cobalt, this land blessed with minerals, precious stones, hydrocarbons has so much to offer to the world. Strategically located at the crossroad of 9 countries, the DRC is a key player in the region. With increasing access to technology, financial and mobile services, Congo is open to global markets like never before. The population, young, dynamic and creative, will charm you with its talent and originality. Today, at the dawn of the first peaceful political transition in our history, we invite you to discover and invest in this country, the size of a continent. Because we have so much to offer, together, let's build the DRC.
For everyone here, there's a connection to the Congo that's very strong, and something that there's a significant story to share as well.
The greatest resource of the Congo is its people.
I came here as a student.
You have a 50 states here, that means you have a 50 opportunity to make it.
Et nous devons tous, Congolais, soutenir cette œuvre.
To see that CIN is established here and we should all support this work.
Two things you need to make yourself successful.
Deux choses pour réussir.
You need to find a product.
Il vous faut trouver un produit.
And you need to find a service.
Et vous trouvez un service.
And that is easy.
Friendly Water for the World works with groups in eastern and northern Congo, helping communities ensure their clean water. We don't do it for people, we teach people to do it themselves.
Indépendance, c'est à te souvenir.